Modern Warfare 3 Zombies is finally here, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's very daunting when it comes to like first starting out and trying to learn the mode, but today I'm gonna just boil it down to the very bare necessities that you need to know to getting into the mode. We're not gonna be going over Easter eggs and boss fights or anything. We're just talking about like getting started, getting into the game, playing your first match, exfilling, the bare essentials. So I'm gonna walk you guys through this step by step, as simple as possible. So here you are at the main menu. You're gonna want to go over to your strike team. From your strike team, you can assign 3 operators at a time for you to play as. It doesn't matter what operator you choose. You can just equip whatever operator you want. You can customize it, choose the skin that you want, and as soon as you do that, you want to go over a tab to the gear tab. Here, this is where the magic happens. Whatever you have here is gonna determine how good you do on a given run. However, since this is gonna be like your first run, there's not going to be anything for you to actually equip here. What you're going to want to do is make sure that you have at least one weapon on hand, make sure you have a tactical, make sure you have a lethal, choose whatever field upgrade, tickles your fancy. They're all pretty well balanced. Once you're at least level 39, I probably would recommend going Ether Shot if you're like me and you're a solo player. Yes, I've been playing this mode entirely solo. I have not even tried queuing up with a squad one time. Frenzy Guard can be pretty good because it just like automatically refills your armor, but I tried Frost Blast. That one's also decent. Energy Mine and Healing Aura, I haven't even touched. So I'd probably say either go Frost Blast or Frenzy Guard. I'd probably recommend Frenzy Guard above all though. So double check before you start the match. Make sure in your loadout you have at least one gun. Make sure you have a tactical, a lethal, a field upgrade. In your rucksack, obviously, again, you're not going to have anything here, so don't even worry about this yet. That'll come later after your first match. And from here, you can either click LT or L2 to choose if you want to squad fill or not. Me personally, I am not going to squad fill because I am antisocial. I don't like people. And as soon as you click start, it'll kind of give you a rundown telling you what your objectives are, and your objectives will be different because this is your first match. In fact, if we go over here to Act 1 and we click on this, you can see all the missions that I've completed. Your first mission should be Direct Line, which is for you to ping a contract and the tag map, complete a contract, and exfil. So even though I've already completed this, I'm gonna just go ahead and do this as if this is the objective that I have, just so then you guys can follow this along to a T. So my objective for this match is to ping a contract, complete a contract, and exfil. So once you confirm your objective, you just click confirm mission, confirm your loadout, make sure everything looks good, you click ready up, and then you're gonna need to click A again to matchmake, and then from there you just kind of wait. Sometimes it can take a bit to get into a match, and as you're loading in, it kind of gives you a rundown once again. Now here we are. As you're loading in, it kind of plays like this cool cutscene, just kind of like giving you an overlay, giving you a feel for the land, and this isn't like anything too important. You don't necessarily need to pay attention to this, but as you can see, we're flying in, just more of the cutscene just kind of plays out. You can see all the other helicopters flying in because this is, to explain the mode, there is other players in the match, but you're never going to have to worry about fighting them. There is 8 squads of 3, or in my case, it's 8 squads of 3 for them, but for me, it's just 1 of me. So if we go ahead and open up the tag map, the green arrow is me, and then as you can see, there's other players on the map, like there's a squad there, there's a squad there, and there's a squad there, but the thing is, even though there is other players in the map, they are friendly. You cannot damage other players in this mode. So it's not like a PvPvE thing, like, because if they would have been PvPvE, that could have potentially ruined this mode, but thankfully it is not the case. It is entirely PvE. Now, one thing worth mentioning is that you will see other humans, technically like human AI, during certain contracts and out in the field, but those are not other players. So, and it's very easy to distinguish whether it's a fellow player or whether it's a mercenary. If it's a mercenary, here, let's go and find a zombie real quick. Similar to the zombies, there will be a giant red health bar above their name that says like mercenary, and then it'll tell you to take them out. But again, just to kind of give you the feel of things, this is the mode. It's sort of similar to, it's like a mix of Outbreak from Cold War and DMZ from Modern Warfare 2, which I guess DMZ is just going to be discontinued going forward. I mean, they haven't really said anything about that, not to my knowledge at least. So if you play DMZ, this is basically an expansion upon that with zombies. Again, there's a whole lot of nitty-gritty stuff we can, dive into here, but today my goal is just to simply get you through your first match, and once you complete your first match and you see how that works, you will very quickly be able to figure out everything else like on your own. It's just that first match that truly is her biggest roadblock for Modern Warfare Zombies. I don't think it's so overly complex that it'll not necessarily deter anybody from actually wanting to play the mode, but it can be a bit daunting at first, like I said. So if you're curious as to what I'm doing right now, I'm literally just running around the map. You want to be looting, right? Like if you see anything worth a value, like if it says that it's worth a decent bit of essence, then you'll want to go ahead and pick it up, just then you can like sell it at a store later. But as of right now, since this is your first match, you don't need to take any of this too seriously. Like you want to loot, see if you find stuff like a monkey, you definitely want to pick it up, but otherwise, I wouldn't pick up any of these gray, like miscellaneous items. Only pick up the green and the blue ones for your first couple of matches. One of the most important things to remember in Modern Warfare Zombies is that you do have armor plates in this mode. Later on, you can go ahead and pick up 2 and 3 armor plate vests. Initially, you only spawn in with 1, one, but you'll definitely want to be making sure that you're keeping up with your armor. So, you know, you hold Y, and thankfully in this mode, it isn't like Warzone where you need to use both your hands to put it on. You literally only need to use one of your hands. You can keep shooting while you equip more armor. But at this point, once you loot it up a bit, once you're feeling comfortable, once you feel like you're kind of getting like a feel for how things work, then you want to go ahead and open up your tag map. And if you remember, the first thing for us to do was to ping a contract. So there we go, we ping a contract, and then once you do that in your game, again, I already did it, so it won't pop up for me, but for you, there should be a pop-up in the top right that says, you know, you pinged a contract, good job, and then you kind of like checks it off the list, and then you just want to go ahead and kind of make your way over to the contract. And as you can see on the minimap, we do have an ammo refill station, and thankfully, it is completely free in this mode. So if you're ever out of ammo and you need some ammo, you just walk up to it, you refill your ammo, it's as simple as that. So the first contract that I have chosen is to eliminate the big bounty. This is similar to like the HVT thing from Outbreak, if you guys remember that. Basically, it's going to give us a giant objective marker on the screen, and then we're going to have like a really tough boss to take down. And by tough, I mean it's going to have a lot of HP, and we're going to have to waste a lot of bullets on it. Always make sure that you loot these ether caches as well. Like as you can see right there, we have a napalm burst ammo mod, and it's very similar to how it worked in like Cold War Zombies, for example, and similar to like how Blast Furnace works in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. You just, you know, you shoot the zombies, and every couple of bullets, it'll trigger that napalm effect where it kind of like lights them on fire. So again, anytime that you see like a cache that labels itself as being like rare or like an ether cache, definitely make sure that you loot it, because you never know what you could see. Well, really, you should just be looting in general, right? Because like here we are, just like a normal cache, and here we are. We have a green shotgun, which is a step above the weapon that we currently have. And if you go ahead and look at the bottom right at our weapons, as you can see here, when I'm holding the WSP Swarm, it's just like a gray background for the weapon and the ammo count, and you know, that's just that. But as I just mentioned, the weapon that we just picked up is a green shotgun, aka an uncommon tier 1. So if we switch over to that, as you can see behind the weapon and the ammo count, it is green down there, and it's very similar to Cold War, how that worked, where there is 3 Pack-a-Punch levels to upgrade your weapons with, as well as the uncommon, rare, legendary, and epic tier. So to level up your weapon's rarity, like the colors, you'll just find tools out in the world. There's the uncommon tools, the rare tools, the epic tools, the legendary tools, etc. You just pick up those tools, and it'll level your weapon up to whatever the tool is. So if it's a rare tool, but you only have like a common weapon like my WSP Swarm, it'll still level it all the way up to rare. It just depends on what rarity the tool is that you pick up. And the Pack-a-Punch, it's, you know, it's the same thing as any other Pack-a-Punch. You just save up enough money, you go to the Pack-a-Punch it once, twice, and then a third time, and that's that. Now we are in the vicinity of the big boss. As you can see, he is up there somewhere, somewhere around here. Aha, there it is. In this case, it is a Mimic. You can also have some other ones spawn in, like Manglers, for example, but in this case, it's the Mimic, and we do have a green shotgun right off the rip, and we are in the tier 1 zone, which is another thing that we need to talk about. I'm not going to open my type map just yet, but as you'll see in a moment once we get to cover it, there is 3 zones in this zombies mode. The first mode that everybody spawns into every single time that you drop into the game is the low threat zone. If you go ahead and take a look at the top left of your screen, it'll say difficulty low threat 1. Right now we're kind of in like the I don't know, like round 1 to round 10 zone of the map, if you were to equate it to like round based zombies. And if I open up my map, as you can see here, when we zoom out, the orange zone is the tier 2 zone, which is like medium threat, and then the red zone is like the, you know, the high threat that's super deadly. You don't want to go there until you have like legendary or epic weapons with like Pack-a-Punch level 2 or 3, preferably Pack-a-Punch 3. Like I said, these enemies can be quite spongy at first, so it might not even be a bad idea to avoid the big bounty contracts at first and go ahead and take out some of the other, I guess, like easier contracts. And then once you have enough money to Pack-a-Punch, which is 5,000 points, then you go ahead, Pack-a-Punch, and then once you're Pack-a-Punch, then you're ready to take on the big bounty things. Because, again, even though we have a green weapon that is slightly upgraded, this he's taking quite a while to put down. I actually think it might not be a bad idea for me to go ahead and pick up the Rival 9, since this also is a green rarity, but it's full auto, so I'll be, yeah, see, it's melting him a bit faster. So, I mean, like, you could do this off the rip, but it depends on how patient you are, really. And don't forget, we picked up the monkey bombs earlier, so, you know, don't be afraid to use what you have. Anything that you're holding, you won't actually get to escape and, like, take with you into the next match, which, that's a whole other thing that we'll talk about. Basically, the only thing that you'll actually be taking with you outside of the match is whatever's in your backpack. So anything that you want to take with you outside of the match and into following matches, make sure it's in your backpack, because anything that you're holding won't go with you. If you pack a bunch of weapons, that won't go with you. Like, you won't spawn in with a pack-a-punch weapon, you know, you'll just spawn in with, like, a common weapon the next time. If you drink perks, those won't go with you. Literally, anything that is outside of your rucksack will not go with you. So that's why, optionally, when you see items out in the world, like the ether tools or like all the other things, well, before we get into that, as you can see here, we completed the contract, and every time that you complete a contract, doesn't matter what difficulty or tier that the contract is, it will always drop this reward rift. And inside of the rift, there could be a number of things. There could be ether tools, pack-a-punch upgrades, perks. We'll go ahead and open up this. See, we got like a cryo freeze ammo mod, we got a self-revive kit. every single contract that you do, no matter how hard or easy that it is, no matter what tier it is, it will always drop you some kind of special reward like that. You can, even on the tier 1 ones, you can get very good rewards like those ether tools, like the perks and ammo mods and self-revive kits. So definitely don't sleep on contracts. That is the main thing. That's going to be like your main source of points and progression towards the higher tiers. Whether you're in the low threat zone, whether you're in the medium threat zone, whether you're in the high threat zone, like that, the contracts are going to be like your bread and butter. Now at this point in the top right of your screen, it should say congratulations, you completed your contract or whatever, and now the only objective that you have left to do is to exfil. So what you're going to do after you clear out the zombies around you, make sure you don't open your map while zombies are around you, otherwise you'll probably die. You want to go ahead, open up your map, and just kind of look around for the exfil zone. The exfil zone, well, you can see like the legend, the map legend over on the right side of the screen. It'll tell you over there, but we're looking for the thing that looks like a doorway with like a stick figure running outside of it. I've noticed that it can be quite finicky when it comes to actually like finding one. Like they seem to be rather like, see, the closest one to me is all the way down here, but that's what you're going to be wanting to look for, this this exfil thing where it's like, you know, again, like the stick figure guy running for the door. But for me, that is, it's quite far away, literally like 2,000 meters. So at this point, I guess we should probably look for maybe a vehicle or maybe like a redeploy spot. We have an ATV over here. I don't think that that would even necessarily take me all the way, but it's better than nothing. So we'll go ahead, ping the ATV, and we'll start making our way towards that exfil zone, since that is the only objective that you should have to do at this point. Anyway, as I started saying before I cut myself off, if you see tools and perks and stuff out in the world, you don't need to use it immediately. So say you're like, oh man, there's an ether tool here, but I really don't want to use it yet. I would like to save it for like a following match. And you can totally do that. Rather than using it now and making yourself more powerful now, you can instead choose to make that gamble and instead just stow it in your backpack rather than equipping it now. And as long as you stow it in your backpack or your rucksack or whatever you want to call it, you will take it with you to the following matches. It's just as long as you don't use it in that match, you can still take it with you. But if you do use it during that match, then you can't take it with you. Again, if you have anything that is outside of your rucksack, it will not go with you. The only things that go with you in between matches is whatever you have in your rucksack, whether that be acquisitions or schematics or any other things like that. It has to be inside of your rucksack. Again, you cannot have it equipped. It looks like we actually just got lucky because there is an exfil chopper right here, so I'm gonna try to hitch a ride. Maybe I was gonna try to hitch a ride, but it flew away, so I guess we'll have to call in our own exfil chopper if this site will actually still be available, which it should be. So quickly, just to recap everything that we did in this match, which again, the first match of Modern Warfare Zombies should be pretty simple for you, especially if you're following this guide to a T. You just spawn in, loot up, maybe try to find some better weapons, try to find at least a green tier weapon, go ahead, ping your first contract, complete the first contract, look for an exfil zone, exfil, and make sure that you have at least some goodies in your backpack, whether it be weapon upgrade tools or schematics or upgrades or other things like that. Like try to make sure you have something with you, but even if you don't have anything with you, it's not a huge deal. Like, your main objective for this first match of Modern Warfare Zombies is going to be to spawn in, complete the contract, complete some of the objectives, just got to get a feel for how the game plays at exfil, and just, you know, have your first successful exfil. That's what we're trying to do here. Just exfil successfully, stay alive, don't die, and from there, things will get a lot easier. Once you learn how the objective systems work, and once you learn how, like, the contracts work, and how the essence systems work, like, completing that first match and just kind of getting a feel for the objectives and contracts, that is the true biggest first hurdle, and learning how, like, the gear systems and, you know, what goes with you in between matches. Like, those are definitely some of the biggest hurdles, or the biggest quote-unquote learning curves, I guess you could say, to Modern Warfare Zombies. But, you know, once you learn these basics, your following matches, it should really be quite intuitive. So from here, the exfil chopper is here. You can just kind of go ahead, hop on the chopper, make sure you survive, make sure the zombies don't get on, because the zombies can't get on, so you're gonna want to make sure that your guns blazing, don't let any get near you. This, yeah, things are going quite badly already. Oh no, okay, see, thankfully we do have a self-revive kit, so I'm gonna wait until the zombies get off. Alright, now that the zombies are bugging off, I'm gonna go ahead and use my self-revive kit just before we exfil. But anyways, there it is. There is our first successful, and hopefully also your first successful exfil in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. So, again, I know it's quite daunting at first. I know there's a bit to learn, but again, once you complete that first match, once you learn that basics, you know, it becomes so much more intuitive, and you should have an easier time just understanding how the mode works. And then at the end of the game, it'll kind of give you like a briefing of all the missions you completed, all the XP that you earned, anything valuable that you brought with you. For me, the only thing that I really extracted was just some miscellaneous items, so I don't have anything too special here. But as you can see there, you have successfully extracted, you see the totals for your XP, the amount of time played, and from there you can just click A, leave the match, and there you go. That is your first match of Modern Warfare Zombies completed. One last thing I wanted to mention before we wrap things up here is that if you go over here to the gear tab, you're going to see this thing called the Insured slot. So basically inside of this Insured slot, you can put anything, like whatever weapon you want. Whether it's from Modern Warfare 2, whether it's from Modern Warfare 3, you can customize it however you want, you can put whatever camos on it however you want. But the thing is, if you start a match with this Insured weapon slot, if you exfil with that weapon and you stay alive, you can keep using it for as long as you want. But if you die and you don't successfully exfil while using an insured slot, right there where it says Crimson Fate, where like my current insured weapon is, there's actually going to be a 1 hour timer where it says, hey, you know, you died, you didn't successfully exfil with your last weapon, so now you have to wait. But you don't actually have to wait that entire hour, which, yes, by the way, it does count down in real time. Instead, you can just, you know, boot up another match. You can take in some of the other, like, contraband weapons that you have, but if you ran out of contraband weapons already, then you just kind of spawn in fists only, try to loot up real quick, get your weapons, and then just go through the map, play as usual, you know, whether you're completing contracts, getting points, looting, whatever, just play the mode, exfil, and once you do that, all those things will help to reduce the amount of time for the cooldown for your insured weapon slots, and you can use like whatever weapons you want to get. But anyways, I hope this video was helpful for at least somebody out there, and I hope this helps you kickstart your Modern Warfare Zombies journey. But anyway, as always, massive shout out, thank you to all the patrons and channel members, thank you to all of you in the low baller tier, new mega shout out, thank you to all of you in the big baller tier, Mellow asking, and Danny Manny in the biggest shout out, thanks to all of you in the G tier, Run Avenge, Sound the Cheese Girl, thank you guys so much, you guys are literal legends, I love you. Thank you guys for watching, have an amazing day, stay beautiful, I love you all, peace.